So, quite a while ago, I wrote a blog on the That Guy with Glasses forum, and I decided, um, I'll go back a little bit and better explain myself. It was a very brief blog about, I'd discovered like some time ago, the original Tron had been released onto Blu-ray. And my blog was basically about my problem with the cover for it. This is what I was talking about. What the hell's this? I mean, don't you think that this is a rather kind of a crappy looking cover? I mean, first of all, it looks, now I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Tron or if this is supposed to be Flynn. Because it does look more like Flynn. And it looks rather photoshopped, doesn't it? And well, the main reason why I'm talking about it is because the one comment I got about the blog was that somebody basically said, well, it would be a lot simpler or easier to explain yourself if you posted a picture along with it, and I didn't know how to interact with all that stuff. They make it a little bit too complicated on That Guy with the Glasses blog section, but more or less, I've wanted to talk about the Tron series in general. I remember growing up with Tron, the original Tron movie, as a kid, and really enjoying it and loving it. And then, of course, there was the sequel, the many years later, Tron Legacy, and it seemed to get bashed and hated by a lot of people, saying like, "This is not what Tron is. This is not what Tron is." And I remember the two differing opinions I saw. There was Spoonie's opinion, and then there was Brad's opinion. And Brad just said that I really liked it. Whereas Spoonie's opinion was that if you like this movie, then you're a fucking moron. And, well, as we all know with Spoonie, he tends to take his opinion a little bit too far. I've always been of the opinion that everyone's entitled to their own opinion. We all have different tastes and such. And I don't believe it's right, to force your opinion on someone else. Of course, I can understand when it's a topic like Transformers 2 or something like that. But sometimes you just gotta let these things go. It gets to a point where it's, what's the point in arguing? And then there's also the fact of, coming back to Tron here, but back to the reason why I want to do this video, was, now I don't know a lot of the complaints from a lot of people, but I remember hearing a lot of people saying, this is not what Tron is, and, and eventually you have to ask yourself the question, do you remember the original Tron? Do you? Because the plot was really silly and stupid. A guy gets sucked into a computer by a laser and is forced to play computer games. That doesn't sound silly or stupid to you? And, and they retread that. But they also bring a little bit more philosophy into it. And a little bit of a newer world. I will say, obviously, the biggest distraction about Tron Legacy is Jeff Bridges' CGI face. And I know why they did it. They wanted him, because he's older now and he clearly has a beard. Them wanting him to look the way he did, 20 or however many years ago it was when the original Tron came out. But it is such a distraction. It really is. And of course, the character Clue, who's an exact image of the Flynn character when you first made him, is again another distraction because you have to see that CGI face all throughout the movie. Later on, you do get used to it and you kind of forget, but it is still there. Of course, I do have to admit that seeing Bruce Boxleitner reprise his role as Tron, and as his human counterpart, of course, I can't really remember that character's name, but seeing him again in the movie was pretty cool too. Tron Legacy, I mean, obviously, I own it on Blu-ray. I didn't love it, but I did like it enough to want to own it. Whatever sort of problems anybody brought up, I didn't have a problem with. I was just able to enjoy it as a movie. Because when you start, really nitpicking and just trying to find problems, you just have to remind yourself it's a movie. I mean, I remember the dumbest argument I ever heard, where I just really wanted to say something, but I didn't. I was at a convention with a couple of friends of mine, and we were in one of those rooms where they were showing off, some movie-style made weapons. Some that were replicas of weapons from the Lord of the Rings movies, and suddenly this started a conversation between a few people, one of them being the guy that was showing off the weapons. And they start bitching and moaning about how, the fighting tactics and all the fight scenes in that movie were ridiculous and over-exaggerated, and they would never work in real life, and blah, 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 blah. I was so tempted to want to stand up and say, yeah, it's a fucking movie. If you're going to debate realism in a movie with elves and orcs and dwarves and magic and shit, really? It's a damn movie. Who the hell cares? Now, I can understand if it was a World War I movie or a Vietnam movie, a movie where it was based on true events or a true story. But other than that, if it's, just a simple, stupid action movie, like a Jason Statham movie or an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie or whatever, does realism really matter? Really? I thought that was just the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. And, sometimes you just gotta take movies on face value and just remember that everybody has their own different opinion. Everybody has different tastes. And maybe as long as if somebody has a good enough reason or a good enough of an opinion to say why they like something or why they don't like something, either you can acknowledge that they like it, which would still, give you the ability to say, that's the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard. Anyway, completely lost my train of thought. But there you go. Tron.